Good morning, boys and girls. My friends and I are very excited to be here with you this morning. My name is Miss Teresa Engel. These are my friends from the Lynchburg Symphony, Mr. Greg Childress, Miss Christy Lynn, and Dr. Yevgeny Dovgolyak. We are so grateful for the opportunity to play with you. We thank God for this beautiful day. We thank God for the beautiful music that we have to share with you this morning. So first, we're going to talk to you just a little bit about who we are and what we do as musicians. We're going to tell you a little bit about our instruments. And then after that, we're going to demonstrate for you 4 different musical styles from different times over the past 400 or 500 years, okay? So first, my name again is Miss Teresa Engel. I play an instrument called the cello, and I teach at New Covenant Schools and at the University of Lynchburg and at Randolph College, okay? I'm also a nurse, but I spend a lot more time doing music than I do nursing, okay? This is really my favorite thing to do with my time is to play music with other people. So the cello is one of the lower string instruments. It's not the lowest. There's another one called the bass that's even bigger, if you can believe it, and makes even lower sounds. But the cello can make very low sounds. It's a big instrument with big fat strings that make lower sounds, but it can also play very high. So it has a big range, able to play low and high notes. And in the orchestra, it does both of those things. We play low notes that go beautifully with the higher notes played by other instruments, but sometimes we get to go up and play beautiful high things too, okay? So now I'm gonna turn it over to my friends who play the violin.
Hi, I am Yevgeny Dovgolyak. I was born in Europe. A lot of the music that we're playing is in Europe, European origin. And do you guys know where Europe is? It's far away, it's across the ocean. And so the music is very old. I'm getting older. I am not as old as the music for sure. But I was 11 years old when we came to the United States and I didn't speak any English. But I learned pretty quick. You know what I could speak? I could speak music because I started when I was 6 years old. And let me tell you about what I do now. I'm actually a violin professor at Liberty University, just on the other side of campus. And I really love it. I'm also the concertmaster of Lynchburg Symphony, and I am recently also a minister of music, so I do a lot of music things, and it's super fun. A little bit about the violin. Actually, why don't you introduce yourself first?
My name is Christy Lynn. I actually went to LCA when I was your age, many, many years ago, and I graduated. I was born into a family of musicians. I have 4 older sisters who also play violin. But now I work as an administrative assistant in the School of Music at Liberty University, and I also play with the Lynchburg Symphony.
We sit next to each other in Lynchburg Symphony. And so the violin, it's a little bit, actually a lot smaller than the cello, if you can see. And the reason is because we get to play pretty high things. Let me show you. That goes pretty high, right? All right, so let's see how low I can go. You ready? Here we go. That's the lowest I can go. How low can you match me here?
But then I can go much lower too.
Yeah. Good. So there's a wide range of string sound that we can cover, that we can play by playing different instruments. The way that we play the violin and the cello and the viola coming up is we can pluck it or we can use the bow. So just to show that we play the same instrument, but we play different parts. And we want to do a little demonstration of that. So listen to this. And now we'll hear about the viola.
Last but not least, we have the viola. But first, before I tell you about the viola, raise your hand if you play a stringed instrument. I'm just curious. Raise your hand if you play violin, viola, or cello. Interesting. Wow, that's a lot more than I was expecting. That's crazy. Now, I have a viola in my hand. Yevgeny, can you hold up your violin next to my viola? What do you notice about the viola? It's bigger, yes. So which one do you think is going to sound deeper and lower, the viola or the violin? Yeah, the viola is going to sound deeper and richer. I'll give you a demonstration.
Boys and girls, we appreciate your enthusiasm so much. Thank you for being so welcoming to us. So now we're going to play you some pieces of music. We're going to be demonstrating 4 different musical styles from different time periods. The first style is called the Baroque style, and this music is very old. This music is from like 400 years ago. And like Dr. D was mentioning, this music is from Europe. It's beautiful and complex. Maybe you've heard of composers like Johann Sebastian Bach or Antonio Vivaldi. We're going to be playing music by a man named Georg Friedrich Handel. And this music was written for King George I of England because he wanted to have a lavish party on the River Thames So he and his friends got on a boat and rowed up and down the river, and they put 50 musicians playing instruments like these on another boat, and that boat followed them up and down the river, and they played this beautiful music for the king and his friends. This music is called water music, and we're playing the finale movement. Enjoy.
Well, that was fun. After the Baroque period, we have the classical period. Now, this is not to be confused with classical music as opposed to like pop or jazz or rock. There's actually a period called the classical period, and it follows the Baroque period. And it's roughly between the years of 1730 and 1820. During the classical period, there was an emphasis on elegance and balance. This was in place of the Baroque's dignified seriousness and impressive grandeur, like we just heard. Classical music has a lighter, clearer texture than the Baroque music, but a more sophisticated use of form. So we usually have short, well-balanced melodies and clear-cut kind of question and answer phrases. It's mainly a homophonic texture. Now that's a big word, but it basically means there's a clear melody line over subordinate chordal accompaniment. So you'll hear Dr. D playing the melody mostly, and the rest of us will kind of be playing an accompaniment part. It also has use of contrasting moods. During this time, the harpsichord was replaced by the piano. Pianoforte is actually the real name, and piano means very, very soft. Forte means very, very loud. So it was during this time that they were able to make a lot more changes with dynamics. And these dynamics highlighted the structural characteristics of the piece. The best known composers during this time were Haydn, Mozart, some of Beethoven, and Schubert. Instrumental music was important to the classical composers, and it was during this time period, during the classical period, that the string quartet, which is what we have today, 2 violins, viola, and a cello, became a prominent genre. Variety and contrast within a piece became more pronounced than before, and the orchestra increased in size, range, and power. Vocal music, such as the opera, does anybody know what an opera is? Yeah, it's a staged dramatic work for singers and orchestra. It also became popular during this time. And that's what we're going to be playing for you today, a portion of an opera, Rossini's Barber of Seville, written in 1775. It's considered to be one of the greatest masterpieces of comedy within music.
Thank you, guys. So the next period of music to follow the classical is called the Romantic period. Romantic period. Yeah, it's really great. So the composer that connects the dots between classical and romantic the most, he's very famous. Have you guys heard of Beethoven? Beethoven. Right? Maybe you've seen that movie with the dog. I'm not sure. I might be dating myself. Okay. So anyway, the Romantic period is marked to about early 1800s to beginning of 1900s. Okay, so and the music continued, the orchestra continued to expand, and instruments were invented even during the time of the classical period, and throughout time, instruments are just continuing to be invented, and the orchestras just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And but the Romantic period is also known for freedom and expression. Okay, and so classical period is more formal. It's by the book kind of, but Romantic period tended to feel the expression and the freedom. And so one of the main composers of the Romantic period is Tchaikovsky. Have you heard of Tchaikovsky and Brahms and those big name composers? Well, Tchaikovsky wrote our next piece. It's a story, it's really a love story, very appropriate for the period, of Romeo and Juliet. So I hope you enjoy the themes from Romeo and Juliet by Tchaikovsky.
I love your enthusiasm. This is so inspiring. Also, I realized I didn't even introduce myself. I introduced my instrument. My name is Greg Childress. I play the viola, and I also play the violin, and I teach violin in 3 elementary schools here in Lynchburg City. So I took the morning off my job to be here for you guys. So this has been really, really fun. I also grew up here in Lynchburg and started playing the violin at the age of 5, and then when I got to middle school, I switched to the viola. Now, we just played from the Romantic period. Now we're in the Contemporary period, and that is music that is composed between 1940 and today. So this is a wide range of music, and kind of anything goes. Everything that you heard before has lots of rules, just like here at school, where you have lots of rules. And guess what people did in the Contemporary period? They started breaking the rules. They broke the rules. Crazy. You would never break the rules here at school, would you? No, not at all. But in the Contemporary period, people were also inspired by all the music that came before. Raise your hand if you like Disney music. All the music from the Disney movies? Yes. Hands down. Raise your hand if you've seen the movie Aladdin. Hands down. We are going to play music from the movie Aladdin. Now, the composer is the person who writes the music. The composer of the music from Aladdin's name is Alan Menken. And he wrote music from a lot of Disney movies. I'm going to name a few right now. Listen closely. Listen if you hear your favorite Disney movie. The Little Mermaid, Hercules, Tangled, and many more. Oh, no, that's not a movie. He wrote many more music for movies. So, we hope you enjoy our last selection, which is the music from Aladdin.